Our JJ Watt is here on behalf of Dick's House of Sport. He is also a sports broadcaster, although I just saw, JJ, you are now the second best broadcaster in your family because your wife is going to do some NWSL for Amazon. Are you ready to just ride her coattails for the next 50 years?
That is a great research and very quickly done, as it was just announced moments ago. Yes, I am. She is going to look significantly better than me on television. Thankfully, she'll represent the family well in that capacity. And B, she'll be much smarter, well-spoken, and just overall better than me. So I will ride her coattails as far as it'll take.
I agree. I agree on everything. She's going to be much better at you at everything, and probably a better athlete too. Let's be real.
Yes.
All right. So last time we talked was right after you retired during the Super Bowl week last year, and you were kind of staring at a year without football, knowing you could do other things, and you kind of joked and you said, "Hey, you want to do Broadway, you want to do SNL, you want to look at go on Saturdays and see different college football venues, all that stuff." The most fun thing you did, JJ, in the last year without football was what?
Oh my gosh. I mean, hands down. Like maybe it's a cop-out answer, but the honest truth is the most fun thing I do is spend time with my son.
Yeah.
There's literally nothing better than taking him to the park and seeing him go down the slide and his face, or seeing him. We went to the zoo the other day and seeing his face light up when he sees the giraffe. Or, I mean, just this morning we went to the park and he was chasing birds around for 45 minutes. Kid, just all he wanted to do was chasing birds around. So, like, those are the greatest things for me. Now, taking that out of the equation, I'll take the family part out, and just the most fun, cool thing. Wow, it's been a crazy year. I mean, truly, when I look back that far and think about all the stuff that we've done, golly, wow, not many questions stump me completely. We had the Burnley parade where we won the championship, got promoted up to the Premier League. We had going to TJ's Thursday night game and spending time with him, and then going to the game. We had, I mean, Rom winning the Masters was insane. Obviously, being friends with him. We had Christmas with my brother up in Wisconsin. My wife and I went to Paris. We've done a whole. It's been a crazy, awesome year. CBS, the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
we did the Super Bowl. It's been a crazy year, so I'm very lucky and grateful. And I only miss football a little bit, so I guess that's a positive on all notes.
I want to get to football. I want this interview to be about football, but you mentioned John Rahm winning the Masters. He recently, this podcast runs on Omaha Productions. Eli is technically one of our bosses. He's an amazing boss. He asked John Rahm who the worst celebrity golfer was.
Yeah.
He said you, but he said, first of all, he called you a celebrity, said in the celebrity bracket. That's important to note. But then he said you were too strong and big to play golf. Do you accept that? Do you accept that kind of rationale that you can never be that good at golf because you're too big and strong? John Rahm, by the way, big and strong.
Yeah, no, he's a nice guy. So he put as many caveats on that statement as he physically could. We've been missing each other because I've been out of town, he's been out of town. So we haven't played together in probably 3 months or so. I have gotten better. I have improved. So I think he needs to see that. But yes, that is certainly a problem in my game. And I've told this story. I had to beg my driver because every time I step on the tee box, everybody wants to see me swing as hard as I can, obviously. And I'm a showman. I want to give him the show. So I swing as hard as I can. And of course, it just slices right every time. So recently I have begged the driver of taking 3-wood on the tee and significantly improved my game. So until I can control my own ego with the driver, the 3-wood wins.
I just think it's unfair for John. He hasn't played with you for 3 months. As you know, every bad golfer has figured something out on the range at all times. Right. At all times. So I just feel like he should respect that we're just grinding and we think we found something in our takeaway. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. And he knows I don't go to the range. So I show up 30 seconds before my tee time and I tee off. I do not range. I don't putt. I do nothing. That's my style. So if you wonder why I'm not getting if you wonder why I'm not getting better, that's the reason.
There it is. All right. So this is a big question. You can take it anywhere. We're in the middle of the draft process. We just had the combine a little bit ago. Everybody's getting so overanalyzed at this point. And there's guys where, the thing I always think about all the time is Marcus Mariota. The report was he has no red flags, which is a red flag. That kind of typifies what we're doing this time of year, where people with no questions, they're being asked questions, all of that kind of stuff. Anything, if you were put in charge of football tomorrow, football czar, is there anything you would change about the draft process, either how we talk about it, how these prospects are evaluated, what kind of testing they go through? What would you do?
That's a great question. I would first need more time to analyze it properly, but I think part of which I mean, if I was in charge of football, which obviously Roger Goodell currently at the moment is, I think they have. You do have to give them credit for maximizing the exposure and monetizing it to the maximum levels by spreading it out over a certain amount of months. So football is on the top of the conscious mind basically pretty much 12 months out of the year. It's pretty incredible. It's unbelievable. I think they've done a great job, and that's part of the reason that guys get paid the way they get paid. Like, I'm fortunate to have been a benefactor of that, so I give them a lot of credit. From a player's standpoint, I think the number one biggest thing that we have to find a way to change is the bowl game thing, where guys are opting out, guys are going to train, things like that. I just think in terms of football as a whole, we are doing a disservice to almost everybody. The players, the fans, everybody involved is not getting the maximum benefit, because now we got some guys staying in playing, some guys opting out, some guys transferring. Like, we need to figure all that out.
Well, how would you go about solving that? I know
I
it's a
really
big
don't
question,
know.
but
I know. I know.
yeah,
I really don't know. I've seen a lot of different proposals and people trying to figure that question out. I've seen some people say, like, move bowl games to the beginning of the next season, which is
right.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Um, but it really is a hard question to answer, because I understand all the other logistical things that come along with it, like like the school year and everything
Yeah.
lining up. So it really is hard, and it has devalued so much of what used to be an incredible time of the year with bowl season. And it just doesn't, I mean, besides the playoff games, it just doesn't hit the same.
I completely agree on a lot of that stuff, and I think it will be worked out. It sounds like in a couple of years, athletes will be employees, and I guess some of that stuff can be streamlined. But right now, it's a big old mess. The biggest thing, JJ, is like the college football. Really, it's my favorite thing in the world. Didn't make a whole lot of sense, like some of the rules, and now we're making new rules to paper over those, and so those don't make any sense either. So it's going to be a confusing couple of years. That's just
I think we're
sort of
pretty much in a time of no rules right now. I think we're in. I think we're in a weird time right now of no rules. But I mean, we're finally basically saying what has been known for a long time, that these students are much more, workers and employees than they
yeah.
are student athletes at the end of the day.
Why should you bet with Caesars Sportsbook? 2 words: Caesars Rewards. Every bet brings you closer to the types of benefits only Caesars can offer. Hotel stays, VIP experiences, sports and concert tickets, and more. It's not just an app, it's an empire. Sometimes I hear from guys when they get out of the league, or they just get injured for a year and they're sitting around watching football, or they're talking to guys in other buildings in a different way, and it changes their perspective on things. Has working in the media changed anything for you about maybe a specific thing about football, or that you understand a little bit more, or hey, you're having more conversations with coaches? Like, what has been working in the media like as far as your understanding of football? Because it's not just, hey, we're just prepping to get to this quarterback on Sunday. It's just so different now. Take me through that process.
Yeah, it's been fascinating, man. I mean, there's a million things that I've learned and seen. Um, I don't know how like deeply I want to go into it, but the truth is, like, the biggest thing that I've learned is um, how important it is to play in the biggest of games, and which is which is obvious. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But the amount of, for me being on the player side to me being on the announcer side, I personally know how much effort, energy, time, sacrifice, blood, sweat, tears, injury happens for every team. Whether you're the number 1 team in the NFL, you're the number 32 team in the NFL, with zero chance of making the playoffs. But the amount of care or mind space that you take up um, is so minuscule compared to the top, let's call it 3 or 4, maybe 8 teams in the NFL. So there's these guys like that I know that I've been before, where you're on the second, third worst team in the league, first worst team in the league, and you're doing all the same things that the other guys are doing. But you're like, it's those are the things to me as like a broadcaster when I'm sitting in it and we're talking about like, hey, who should we highlight? I'm trying to highlight, a couple guys where it's like, I know this guy's great. I know this guy's awesome. Like, yeah, well, that's not a big game this week. I'm like, okay, like you're just like, man, but that guy's playing great ball. Like, it's
Yeah.
you got to be in the conversation to be in the conversation.
Yeah, that's fascinating. All right, two quick things before we get to what we're doing with Dick's. One, we have something called one rep back. You get to relive any play of your career that you wish you could get back. What are you going with?
Uh, so I redo it, or I'm just
You
reliving
redo
it
it.
again?
You get to redo it, and you get to do it better, different, whatever you want to do.
And it's one play
One
that
play.
I personally, oh man, I'm trying. I mean, I wish there was one play that would have won me a Super Bowl or at least got me closer. Um, I'll give it, and I don't want to give this answer because I don't even want to rethink about this play. But I will. Oh no, I know my answer. I know my answer for sure.
Good.
Yeah. The Tony Romo play where I beat Tyron Smith right off the line of scrimmage fast. It came in and I was literally trying to kill Tony Romo. I've told this to his face. I was trying to break his back. That was the goal. And he, no idea how he knew it, but he felt my presence coming from behind. He spun out of it through a 57-yard touchdown. And that ended up being the game-winning touchdown. So I would redo that play, and I would smoke him.
And if you did, maybe you guys would work at different networks now. Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows what the one rep back butterfly effect would have been?
Yeah.
But thank God you both at CBS doing a great job. All right, last thing. It's called Badass. It's the wall back here. The biggest badass you ever played with. When you think badass, you think who? JJ Watt.
Oh, I mean, I got to give it to Brian Cushing. I mean, yeah, he's when he took the moment I knew it was my rookie year when we were we were returning an interception, and then a guy tried to block Brian. Brian smoked the guy. Then they were staring at each other talking, and still unknown to this day why he did it. Took off his own helmet and headbutted the guy who still had his helmet on. Nobody made him take off his helmet. Nobody ripped his helmet off. He just decided I would rather headbutt that guy's helmet with my bare head. So I'll give it to Kush.
Yeah, that's number one with a bullet. All right, tell us, JJ, what we're doing with Dick's.
Dick's House of Sport is athlete paradise. It's kids paradise, it's athlete paradise, and I have been both in my life, and I truly am in paradise when I walk into this place. I mean, last year I did a grand opening for Dick's House of Sport in Houston, and I literally walked in. I've been in many Dick's Sporting Goods and never been in Dick's House of Sport. And I walked in and I was like, this place, I literally said the words, I would like to live here. So now we've created an entire campaign around me wanting to live in a 100,000 square foot Dick's House of Sport. And we did the rock climbing wall. We did the batting cages. We did the TrackMan golf simulator. We've done it all. But they just truly have everything you could ever want as an athlete. And it's the most natural partnership for me because I walk in and I'm like, this is home. And it just feels great. And I'm very fortunate and lucky to partner with them. And I know that kids all over the country and communities all over the country benefit because they have, Dick's Sporting Goods to go get their stuff. Love it.
Check it out. Check out JJ Watt on CBS. Check out Burnley. Check out NWSL on Amazon. Check it all out. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you, Kevin. Have a great day.